It was tough going out there for Kepler Vessels 23 and ALLAN Border 12, and it won't be any easier tomorrow because there'll be a tremendous amount of pressure out there for those two players and the other Australians. The bowling figures for England dominated once again by Ian Botham. Both Botham and Allett bowled extremely well. 9 overs, 2 for 27, and 7 overs, 1 for 8. And Ian Botham, in taking Graham Wood's wicket, moved to 326 wickets, one above Bob Willis. He is now the greatest ever wicket taker for England in Test cricket, and he's chasing hard after Dennis Lillee. His performance today gave England just as many this morning, because although they needed only 81 more runs to win, they only had 7 wickets in hand. So tension right round the ground. The pitch was still good, but the footholds outside the left-handers off stump for the spinners were certain to cause problems. We pick up play now at the very second ball of the day. Phil Edmonds is the bowler. No runs have been added, and ALLAN Border is taking strike.
Big shout going up there, but no response. The ball races away down the slight incline in front of the pavilion there. 4-leg byes.
Well, Phil Edmonds very unlucky there. Very bad shot from ALLAN Border. He has been sweeping well from outside the off stump, but quite so early in the innings. Requires a good eye, and that did all but hit the off stump over, and I think the appeal eventually is for LBW, but the front foot outside off stump. Beautiful change of speed by Edmonds. Pushed it through a bit.
No doubt who was going to bowl from this pavilion end. And as ever, the fairly lengthy chat between Gower and Botham about this field placing. Border yet to add to his overnight 12. But through this time. Short ball, and he hit it extraordinarily well, really. It's 4 runs for it, and threw mid on all the way along the ground. Just shows how quickly he got into position. To reach for that, fairly wide, but has got it away for 2 runs. Really was a little bit slow around there. Thought he should have saved the 4.
It was wide and was well played by Border, but not all that firmly. And Allett seemed to have made the ground and suddenly decided to put a foot down rather than bend for it. And his footwork was not up to it.
So just about halfway. 63 for 3, another 64 wanted. Settles down to face Edmonds. That's the quicker one. Similar sort of delivery to the one that got past Order a little while ago. Oh, it's quick, and he's done it. Oh, God, really. Very, very smart reaction there. Vessels pushing forward, just fraction out of his ground in a flash. Gower had that ball back, hit the wicket, and it's 63 for 4 with Kepler Vessels run out.
Brilliant fielding. We were saying how David Gower understands all the problems for a left-handed batsman with the rough outside there and all the possibilities. Well, this is one. Quite firmly hit into the ground to David Gower's wrong hand, his left hand. Wonderful fielding. Amazing.
Border now to face Botham. Really put a little bit extra into that one. So this one he's really let go this morning.
Yes, that was just that shade quicker. I think both of them lacked a bit of the speed of yesterday, but that beat Border at his favourite shot too.
David Gower has been appointed captain for the rest of the series. Another 4 test matches, which I suppose is not really unexpected news. But David Gower has the selector's confidence now for 4 more test matches. And he's bowling. Edmonds strikes a very much deserved wicket there for Phil Edmonds, and David Boone goes for just a single. It's 65 for 5. And still a lot of cricket to be played in this match.
Well, now the spinners have taken a turn in this match. I think he's beaten him for pace. It's turned a lot, turned out of the rough, pitched from outside leg. He could have kicked it away, but it's bowled him off stump.
Yes, once he went back to the spinner, he was in no man's land. Even Alan Border here has been made to work very hard for his runs this morning. 35 minutes, he's added 9 personally. 21 now, that's a good looking stroke. Just about the first half volley that both of them has bowled this morning. Border onto it very quickly. He'll come back for 3. So we're back to the left-handers with Wayne Phillips.
Safe over Imbury's head, and he got it well enough. Wayne Phillips. Good save. But they're still going to run 4. Good chase there by John Imbury. He had to go from a rather shortish mid-on. He's in there to save the single, and Edmonds is back for the pull shot behind square.
Edmonds again from the nursery end.
Edmonds is quite prepared to buy a wicket out there. He's bowled very accurately. He has no men down at long off or long on. So he's inviting Phillips to go for the drive. Both of them is going off. And Embury to come on. Good shot. But bear in mind the footmarks are not at that nursery end. Craig McDermott did bowl a little from down there. And 5,000 test match runs to Alan Border. And he's the 7th Australian to reach 5,000 runs in test cricket. That's a very valuable 3 runs for Alan Border, because it is also over, and it means he can keep the strike. And that was not a good over for England. 43 more to win for Australia and 5 wickets for England. 33 to Border, 7 to Phillips. Border has strike. Edmonds the bowler. Beautifully bowled. This is another good over from Edmonds. Beaten in the flight. And that must have missed by a whisker. Straight out of the footmarks. Embury's going to come round the wicket. This is the problem that has brought about a fresh bowler coming on. I've always got complete control. Very few runs to play with.
Yeah, but it wasn't that bad a ball. It's very good batting from Alan Border. He's picked the length very quickly, given himself the room, and he's picked the gap.
Now Phillips has to face Edmonds. 38 runs to win, or 5 wickets to win for England. Good shot. There was a thought around that Wayne Phillips might not know what a crisis is, Tony.
Well, this is evidence, if you required any. Again, picked up the length of the ball, which is a little on the short side so quickly.
It's a question of how many they'll run if it doesn't go for 4, but it does. Leg buys. Yes, he's a very laid-back character, Wayne Phillips. Very casual goal, although he concentrates tremendously hard on his wicket-keeping and on his batting. But he just gives the impression that nothing worries him a great deal. And the 100 comes up for Australia. A little bit of the pressure relieved, though not completely by any means.
Well, what Phillips has brought the situation is a few strokes as well. He's played his shots. He's got, of that 100 for 5, he's got 15 not out. And that loosens the tie a bit, eases the pressure.
That spun, I think, straight out of the rough stuff outside the off stump.
There's much slower and flighted ball. Allan Border jammed in there with the bat and it flew away well past Mike Gatting. Not a missed chance. It went very quickly and high.
That's a nice poster. Spelling, only 2 out of 10, but the rest of it sums up the way Allan Border has got through this match. And once again, that's good aggressive cricket from Wayne Phillips. No chance of the man out at deep fine cutting that off. And that's a good shot. It wasn't a bad ball. It was certainly not short, but it just allowed Phillips enough room to play the cut.
Well, he looks to have a marvellous temperament, doesn't he? And a natural stroke maker, played it perfectly. A chopping shot.
111 for 5. 5 wickets to win for England and 16 runs required for Australia. And that is short. Just be the 3 runs there.
Border down now to face Edmonds.
50 partnership up for Phillips and Border. Came up in only 59 balls. And Border must have been searching desperately for a partner. Found just the man in Wayne Phillips. Good catch. Edmonds. He's bowled beautifully this morning. That was a splendid catch. And England back in with a breath of hope again. Phillips out for 29, 116 for 6.
Well, he couldn't stop playing that shot, but it was one square cut too many for Wayne Phillips. A little bit further up this time and more bounce. But look at the catch. It was beautifully taken by Edmonds. He had to come in close on that and almost scoop it.
Sam O'Donnell, the next man in. He will be faced with plenty of close-in fielders. I'd say that's down.
It was a brilliant attempt by David Gower. It was just jammed out there, bat pad, and the ball died. Gower pushed at it.
Tension all round the ground, no more so than in the Australian balcony. None of them will have moved from their seats. They were in at the start. That's not so much tradition, but superstition. Still to come, Lawson, McDermott and Holland. Here's Phil Edmonds. Well, the invitation was there, and he hasn't mucked around with it. He smashed it straight over the boundary, alongside the side screen, and Allan Border will have just a little half smile on his face at that.
Well, he almost came down a couple of balls before. This time he came down. But that's just the shot Ian Botham played when he got out.
And that's it. O'Donnell has hit the winning runs. Border has given his jump of pleasure. And, well, he might. He's played such a role in this victory to make certain that when the teams go to Trent Bridge, that it will be all square. 128 for 6. Australia have won by 4 wickets at Lord's. 41 to Border and 10 to Simon O'Donnell, who would have gained in experience out there this morning. And Border, who's held in such very high regard by his team, will be clapped off by them. It's a splendid performance from Allan Border, 196 in the first innings for Australia and then 41 not out, guiding them to victory in the second. A splendid short innings from Wayne Phillips, 29. He made just what was needed at the time. There was a lot of tension out there and in the dressing room, and he played some glorious strokes. And Simon O'Donnell hitting the 6 off Phil Edmonds towards the end was just the icing on the cake. 127 for 6 Australia at the end of the match. England, Botham 2 for 49, and Edmonds, I thought, bowled superbly out there today. 16 overs, 5 maidens, 1 for 35. Well, shortly after that, Allan Border received a cheque for £5,000 for the Australians having won this Cornhill Test match at Lord's, and he was also named as man of the match by the adjudicator Ted Dexter. Ted mentioned that Ian Botham, the greatest all-rounder in the world, was a close contender, but Border's performance
all over the place.